Here we go, people. Wednesday night in the room podcast live on YouTube. Join our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you will be notified every time we go live and every time we upload a new video. There is a couple of them that we just put up today. Jorgen De Castro is fighting on the 28th for Khabib's promotion, Eagle FC in Miami, Florida. So check that video out, check that interview out. But while I got you here now, you're going to be listening to us live with Zach Converse, my man, who will be fighting this Saturday night for Noboundary Fight in Melrose, Mass, bro. Thanks for coming on the show, my friend. Congratulations for getting a great scrap and being on the #1 Muay Thai promotion, and I would say on the East Coast right now.
Absolutely. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Really happy to be here and talk about my fight camp and, how I'm prepping for this fight and all that. So really excited. I've seen a lot of my buddies on the podcast here and, to be on the podcast is pretty cool, so I'm definitely excited. So
I'm always excited to meet a new fighter and get their background and just talk shit. Not shit. Well, talk shit later on. We usually talk shit after I've interviewed a couple of times. And we kind of know each other. But it's great to check your background out and get your story out there, man. It looks like fighting is something you really want to do right now. And man, let's get it out there. Let's talk about it, bro. We met briefly at Cage Titans, where you had a Muay Thai fight. I know a bunch of your coaches and a bunch of the people, your friends that you say been on the show. Let's talk about it, man. The first time I met you was at Cage Titans. Let's talk about that card and the experience and how you felt there.
Yeah, so I mean, what's funny is like a few years ago when I first picked up a pair of gloves. I picked up those Walmart Everlast gloves. I showed up to class, no idea what I was doing first day. And then I remember going to a Cage Titans event. It was the first time I ever been to like a fighting event. And of course, at the time, some of my buddies had fought, like Brett Lighton and stuff, a really good friend of mine. So, I remember just being in the crowd, like, being a fan and watching the fights and watching the walkouts. And I told myself, I was like, one day I'm going to be in that cage, or ring or whatever it is, so. Then I started taking it more seriously and started training consistently. And then, now here I am. So, I fought November 6th, Cage Titans 50. That was an awesome event, especially because it was the 50th anniversary of Cage Titans. So they did the daytime, nighttime doubleheader. So that was awesome. Paul Ver was awesome. It was pretty cool. So I fought Nico Mavromatis from Red Seal. They got a really good team over there. Of course, they train under Sean Schubert. He's just known for being gritty. He's a tough fighter, great coach. And the experience was just like insane, right? Like I wake up in the morning on fight day and the world was just like different. Like everything was just different. The whole world was just different. I woke up and I'm just like, so, I mean, getting there, obviously the nerves are going a little bit, but once you start warming up on pads, I was fine. But the most nerve-wracking part of that, right? Because that was my first amateur fight in front of a big crowd. Cage Titans always brings in a lot of fans at the Memorial Hall in Plymouth. The most nerve-wracking moment was walking, when the commission told us, hey, like, you're going on, walking out of that warm-up room and walking across that top balcony, seeing the fans below you, knowing you're about to walk out. And then the most nerve-wracking part is being right behind that curtain when the music starts playing and all you hear is the fans. And then you walk out when the beat drops and all of a sudden there's these lights and fans screaming your name. And I mean, what a nerve-wracking moment, but it was the best moment of my entire life, stepping in that cage and getting in there for 3 rounds and just going at it and, just doing what I love. And so Muay Thai is a big part of my life. And, so I'm really excited for this upcoming bout.
Excellent. While you're talking, Zach, I'm flashing through your Instagram here, and we threw some pictures on of that awesome fight, dude. Man, as far as that fight and the experience there, did you have any other fights before that Cage Titans fight, smokers or any other amateur fights going on?
No amateur fights, but I did do a smoker actually. With Mikey, I fought Mikey White.
Mike White. Mike White.
Mike White, yeah. I fought Mike White, yeah.
Bada bing.
He's a good dude, man. He's my boy. He's killing it right now. Just got to throw that out there. I mean, he's like 6-0, 7-0, something like that. He's fighting on this upcoming card. So give a shout out to Mike White. You know, after you watch his fight, tune in for mine. Another guy out of Sean Schubert's gym. But yeah, so I fought him. That was the first time, you know, I'd actually like fought. And what an experience that was, especially my first time, like the 3 rounds against Mike White. So, but it was an awesome fight, and I had a really good time. You know, became like good friends with him after, and now, you know, we're watching each other fight. So it's pretty cool. It was a really cool experience. So, but yeah.
Excellent. I didn't. So you became friends after the fight. You didn't know him before the fight, as far as, you know, being friends with him, right?
No, I had no idea.
Cool.
Again, this was like my first rodeo with like actually getting into fighting. Like, of course, I had trained for a while, but I finally hit that step where my coach is like, all right, you know, like, you're good to fight now. So I didn't know who he was. Like, I remember I looked him up on like YouTube, and I saw that he had a couple fights for like a promotion in New York, and you know, whatever. So, but I didn't know who he was until after the fact. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. So now I see him all the time. We're fighting on the same cards. I'm fighting his teammates. And
exactly.
And he's fighting my teammates.
Yeah.
He ended up fighting on my buddies. And so, but yeah, you know, the fight community is pretty small, but what an awesome experience. But yeah.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's like, you know, it's just like the MMA community, the Muay Thai community. Everyone fights kind of everyone at the amateur level. You know what I mean? You're all getting work in there, and you end up training with each other down the line, cross training. You become, you know, a stronger unit, because someone you might not have trained with earlier, you might fight them, and then like, hey, come on, get some rounds down here, man. You learn a lot that way. Where are you getting your work in? I know I saw you getting you know, warmed up by Chip Marazapala there, but you know, where are you getting all your work? Is it mainly with Chip, or you have a few gyms you jump around at?
So my primary gym, my main gym is Fight Zone Kickboxing on the Team True. So my head coach is Mike True, and then we also got my other trainers and coaches there, Steve Gaudette and Jimmy McDonald. And then I also train under Chip. So I got Fight Zone under Mike True, and then Chip Marazapala, the surgeon. You know, so it's kind of awesome to have both, because I really developed my freestyle kickboxing out of Fight Zone, and developed my traditional Thai really out of Chip. So I really get the best of both worlds, and to have both of those guys, Mike True and Chip, in my corner is just honestly a blessing. You know, I feel super comfortable getting in there. I have multiple tools for both coaches, and yeah, we really have a good system going. So yeah, it's awesome.
Well, dude, no rest for the wicked for you. I mean, it seems like you're fighting all killers. Yeah, I mean, Mike White, I would imagine when you fought Mike White, he, like you said, he had a couple other fights already. He probably went with Sean Schubert to New York, or with Anthony. They might have both fought there. Because I know Sean got a lot of amateur fights in New York that, you know, them guys used to like travel with him and just to like be in his corner and stuff like that. So it's probably one of those promotions that are really good. I mean, you don't suck when you're kind of fighting with them. So kudos to you, man. And then, you know, you took on Nico, right? Is that,
Yep.
Yeah, from the same camp. And you took him at Cage Titans. And the thing about that, like you talk about the traditional side with Chip, I mean, it was a totally different style kind of fight. I mean, you know, you had a more traditional style that Chip, you would think Chip would like show. And then you got you know, Nico doing these spinning shit in there, spinning fucking stuff in there. I mean, dazzling the crowd, man. Did you know anything about him before that fight? Was there stuff that you could study about him, or was when he jumped in that cage, you were like, holy shit, this kid's like a you know, an acrobat in here?
Yeah. So I mean, a little bit. That same smoker where I fought Mikey at, he fought one of my teammates. But I mean, I wasn't really paying attention to his fight a little bit, because my fight was a couple after that, so I was warming up. But I did know that he came obviously from Red Seal, trained under Sean Schubert, teammate of Anthony and Mikey White. So I knew that he was going to have like an unorthodox style, and I knew he was going to be gritty. Yeah. You know, so I knew he was just going to come out swinging. You know, I knew that off the bat. But of course, you know, my first amateur fight in front of a huge crowd, God only knows how many people were actually there. Cage Titans, one of the biggest promotions in New England. You know, the nerves are kind of going a little bit, and it really took me the first round and second round was really trying to like, trying to handle the nerves, kind of feel them out a little bit. And then the third round is when I really snapped in. And I was just like, it's go time, like I know what I'm in here to do. And, I'm going to get it done. I know how good I am, and I'm going to use my tools that I have. And so I knew a little bit about him, but not too much, but knowing that he came from Red Seal, and his camp was run by Sean Schubert, Anthony, and Mike, and those guys, that helped a little bit. I kind of knew a little bit what he was going to bring to the table. But of course, he came out and, he performed very well.
Yeah.
It was his night. It was a split decision fight. Yeah. So
yeah, it's Chip, of course, the coach and the judge and jury there. Listening to him out, he's like, these people don't know how to judge Muay Thai. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's different, right? It's
yeah, it depends.
a lot different.
I mean, when you fight at No Boundary, it's gonna be totally different. You know what I mean? Scored and
my zone, like I'm stepping into my territory kind of thing. Because I'm used to a ring, right? Like at Fight Zone, we got a ring. We don't have a cage. We're kickboxing gym. And obviously train on the Chip.
Yeah.
Muay Thai. So it was a lot different fighting in a cage, than a ring, like with the corners and the way you're moving around and stuff like that. And not to mention, again, it's an MMA promotion with Muay Thai. So, I mean, the judging, I'm not 100%, but I'm sure the judging might be a little bit different. Because obviously in MMA, Muay Thai is a lot different. Muay Thai, they score kicks a lot higher than punches and, things along those lines. So it might be a little bit different. But, for me, the biggest thing for me is I don't care who it is, what promotion, or whether it's a cage or a ring. I just want to get in there as an amateur, especially where I'm just starting out my amateur career. I want to get in there as much as possible, and I want to fight as much as possible. I don't care about the record, the opponent, whether it's in a cage, whether it's in a ring. I just want to get in there and get as much experience as possible. Experience. I can't harp on that enough. And Chip will say the same thing. As an amateur, win, lose, or draw, we just go right on to the next. We just fight one after another. We just keep going, just keep climbing that ladder, gain all the experience that you possibly can as an amateur. So that's like the biggest like model for me, per se. So the way I kind of do it.
Awesome, my man. Being brought up the right way here. Before we get to this next opportunity where you're fighting another kid that's pretty decent in there. I think he was on the last No Boundary card that I was at. A real, athletic kid, another athletic kid in there. But as far as, you spoke about Chip and you spoke about Mike White and Anthony that might cross paths with them training. Who are you getting really rounds with as far as, training partners and guys you're mixing it up with that are, your regular kind of training partners that help you out through training camps?
Yeah, so Jimmy McDonald is probably the biggest one. I'm sure you've seen him fight. He fights a Lion Fight and Wartime and all those other promotions, and he's fought at No Boundaries. Jimmy McDonald is one of my coaches, also one of my teammates. So I train with him a lot, and I developed a lot of his style as well, and he really helps me get prepared for my fights. And then also Matt Callahan is one of my really good training partners, also a really good friend of mine. So shout out to him. I was training with him like an hour ago.
Nice.
He also fought on the Cage Titans card. He fought the prom kid, Lucas Remsen.
Oh, cool.
Him before, so
hey, dude, that was a good night. That was a really good,
awesome.
Yeah, that was a good night, man.
Awesome. Hey, kudos to him, man. That was awesome. Yeah. I mean, you're in high school, you're fighting, and you go to prom that same night. Like, that's crazy. I mean, what a story to tell. That's where he got his name. So
exactly. Awesome.
That's awesome, man. He's a good kid. I've also gotten rounds with him, actually. He came to Fight Zone. We do our sparring on Saturdays. He came to Fight Zone last Saturday for sparring and got some rounds in with us. And got rounds in with Matt again. So that was kind of cool. But, for me, of course, I train out of Fight Zone and I train under Chip. But of course, I do like to cross train here and there. Like sometimes it's good to go to sparring at other gyms just to get a different look, a different style. Like I've sparred at Lozon's before. They do 5-minute rounds there. I spar every Monday at Sityotong. I go up there with Chip and I spar with guys like Peter Barrett. I spar with Chip and then all the other guys there. And a lot of top level guys. So I'm always sparring with top level guys, whether it be amateur or on the pro level, guys that have fought for the UFC, fought for Bellator, and the other big promotions and stuff. So, I really like to get a different look here and there. But my main training partners, Matt Callahan, Jimmy McDonald and Steve Gaudette, another coach out of Fight Zone. So
Excellent, my man. Let me throw this poster up for Saturday night.
yeah,
I don't know if you can say his name better. I don't want to butcher this kid's name, but Ibarra?
Cabrera. I think it's Cabrera.
All right.
Yep.
That I'll go that far. I got his poster out. You guys can make out his last name out there.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Nico's name too.
yeah. His is easier for me a little bit. You know,
Yeah.
I got a couple of Greek friends that like, that tongue starts to roll after you say it a few times. You know what I mean?
Right,
So,
right.
But this dude, like I said, he was on the last card, and I don't remember who exactly he fought, but it was a great fight. I do believe he came away with a win. And what I say is, the kid, I think I followed him on Instagram after that fight, and I don't know if he has his own camp or his own gym or teaches. I could be thinking of the wrong guy, but this kid's legit. He's a trainaholic as far as training all the time, and he just looked like a beast in there when I saw him.
Yeah. So I mean, what I know, I know very little about him. I actually have seen him fight a few times. I've seen him fight over at Wishers, the Wishers promotion at Gillette's MMA, and then I've also seen him fight again at the last No Boundaries card. So I know he's gonna come in very hard and very aggressive. I know he's got a lot of power behind him. I mean, he's got a really big frame. I think he did a little bit of bodybuilding for a while, if I'm not mistaken. So I know he's got a bigger frame, and he's gonna come in very powerful. So that's something that I thought about my whole entire camp, something I'm prepared for. So I'm prepared for whatever he has to bring.
Awesome, my man. As far as going into No Boundary, man, like I said, this is the biggest Muay Thai promotion on the East Coast. Chip, of course, he's been involved with it a ton of time, cornering fighters, just about every card there. Have you, of course, you had to be at No Boundary here and there. Have you gone to a show?
Yeah, I was actually at the last one. One of my teammates, Riley Pons, shout out to him. He had fought that night. He fought Lucas Brock. I think he was actually the first fight, if I'm not mistaken. So we were all there cheering him on, and then we stayed to watch the rest of the fights. Like Mike White, and there was a lot of other top level amateurs that were fighting that night. So I actually was at the last No Boundaries, and remember telling myself like I'm going to be in that ring pretty soon. So and Fred and Muhammad, they're awesome guys. I had spoken to them. They're awesome promoters. So I was really excited when I talked to them and actually got on the card.
Excellent, my man. They're really cool guys. I mean, they're the only Muay Thai promotion kind of, around, except for smokers and, the wartime that comes around maybe once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So they're doing great things for the kids as far as, getting them busy with Muay Thai, and they're bringing in really good fighters from, other states, sometimes other countries, to get work in here to get the matchups. And this is a very special card because it's not only amateurs and pros, but there's a kids event or kids card that kind of starts off the show that younger kids in the Muay Thai field that are gonna that look up to you guys are in there too. So No Boundaries really stepping it up, and it's a whole day affair, I do believe, this time around.
Yeah, I mean, it's awesome. I mean, they're giving the younger kids a platform to build their career off of, So I think it's great that they're doing the daytime card there. Actually, one of my buddies who I've actually trained with for this camp, he also trains under Chip. Chip will be in his corner, Matt Nakata. I think he's like 16 or 17. I mean, it's going to be his first fight. The kid looks crisp. He had a great camp. So I trained with him a lot, also under Chip. And helping him out a little bit. So the kid's going to perform very well. So I'm really excited, to see him go out there and to start his career. So No Boundaries is an awesome promotion, and to really again put together a daytime card to give these kids a platform to build their fighting career off of. I think it's incredible. I think it's awesome. It's given a lot of kids opportunity to get that experience before they start fighting on the bigger promotions, or just fighting, for No Boundaries and some of these other promotions, and they really start kicking off their amateur career. So I think it's great. So
awesome, my man. As far as Melrose, how far is that from you? Is that in the backyard, kind of like, do you not too far of a drive?
I don't think it's too far. So I live in Bridgewater. So I mean, I don't think it's that far. I mean, maybe like a little less than an hour or something like that.
Yeah, that's not too bad. That's like a
Yeah.
stroll. I mean, you're training, cross training. I mean, you guys drive around constantly, so that's like nothing.
Yeah, you should see the mileage on my car right now. I mean, within the past year, when I started fighting and going to sparring and all that stuff,
Yeah.
and just driving back and forth. I drive to Halifax for Fight Zone. I drive down to Plymouth with Chip, and then of course, when I go up to Seotong on Mondays, that's over in Somerville, so which I don't think is far from Melrose at all.
Yeah.
So I mean, I'm driving around all the time,
Yeah.
so I'm definitely saving up the money for gas and oil changes every month.
Exactly.
So, but hey, it's all worth it in the end. So I do everything I possibly can to just train as much as possible and to just get after it, because Muay Thai is a huge part of my life, and I love it. I don't know what I would do without it. So like growing up, I never knew. I had a tough time growing up. Faced a lot of adversity, and I knew once I started actually training and getting into fighting, I knew I found my calling. And I knew I was like, this is what I want to do. As soon as I put on that first pair of gloves, I was like, this is going to be my life, and I'm going to give 110%, and I'm not going to stop until I reach the top.
Awesome, my man. Man, I gotta commend you, man. You're well spoken. There's no silence in you. You are like a great interview. I've never met you before, never talked to you, man. I feel like I know you. Like it's a good conversation, man. Thank you, for just the chat, bro.
Yeah, I appreciate you having me, man.
Yeah,
Seriously, like
all
I
the
said,
time.
a lot of my buddies I've seen on here, like I always watch the podcast, with all the top level fighters that are on it, especially like when Cage Titan's about to approach and you got all the top level fighters. I love watching the podcast. And again, my buddy Brett Lighton, I remember seeing him on there. He's one of my best friends, and so I'm definitely it's awesome to be on your podcast, man. So
Oh man, I appreciate it, bro. This is like a people might think this is my job, but it's more of a hobby. It kind of gets me off to talk to fucking people and learn learn what makes them tick, their passions, especially when it's about fighting, And so, dude, you got it in you, man. You can see it, you can hear it, and I can feel it from you, bro. As far as getting ready for this fight, it's Wednesday night. We got a couple more days. They're not big weigh-ins or big weight cuts for these fights, especially as the amateur level of Muay Thai. But what's left in the last couple of days before Saturday night?
So for me, I mean, honestly, it's going to be a lot of recovery. Actually, I have a nutritionist for this camp, Peter Barrett. Peter Barrett's been helping me out with the dieting and the weight cut. I mean, he's just super knowledgeable about like proper ways of dieting and proper weight cuts, because you see some guys, they'll step up to the scale and look like they're about to pass out. Now for me, honestly, like I mean, I'm training so much, so when I'm dieting and cutting weight, it really isn't that bad. Like for me, I typically walk around like 160, 165, and I mean, I'm fighting this fight at 145, and I mean, I'm super close to weight, so it's like for me, it's an easy thing. I mean, of course, I mean, if you've been following my Instagram, you've been seeing all my food videos that I've been reposting. I'm just excited to dive into the pasta and the garlic bread and all that stuff, and actually be able to eat like a lot of that food again.
Yeah.
But it's been great. I feel amazing. I feel better than I actually ever have been. My cardio is on point. My strength is on point. I'm all toned out. I'm ready to go. All my tools have been perfected, and I feel really, really good and really comfortable to get in there Saturday night.
Excellent, my man. Well, I'll be there Saturday night, ringside, not cage side.
Yep.
It's very rare ringside, but I'm at most No Boundary events. Last event I was at weigh-ins. I did a bunch of interviews at weigh-ins. That was great. I can't this time around because I have a podcast again Friday night, because there's so many cards coming. Maybe I'm interviewing a couple of your friends on Friday night.
You probably will be. There's so many fights going on now.
It's crazy, but
hard to keep track.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm going to bump into you at some of those fights coming up. But as far as Saturday, bro, I'll be ringside. I'll be getting post-fight interviews and shit. Come say hi to me either before the fights, after the fights, man. Man, let's formally greet each other and give a fist pump and say, let's fucking go. You know what I mean? So
yeah, man, absolutely, man. I'm super excited for the Saturday night. I know there's going to be a lot of fans there. They tend to bring in a really good crowd, and again, it being a Muay Thai promotion, I'm really, really excited. So excited to meet you, man. And again, like I said, I really appreciate you having me on here so I can share some of my experiences. This is just an awesome experience. So.
Excellent, man. Well, I'm gonna let you give your shout outs, any other social media, and while you're doing, I'm gonna put your poster up, and I think I can put like the information on the bottom of the poster. I can throw that on there. So let it go, man, and I'll definitely see you Saturday night, my friend.
Absolutely, man. All right. So first and foremost, I want to give a shout out to my coaches. Once again, Mike True, Jimmy McDonald, Steve Gaudet, Chip Morales, and Pollard. Shout out to my gym, Fight Zone, and all my training partners there. Of course, Matt Callahan, one of my awesome training partners, fought on the same card. We both made our amateur debuts together. Big shout out to Peter Barrett for helping me out, being my nutritionist for this camp and helping me out with the dieting and the weight cutting and stuff. Really, has me on point, and I feel fantastic. So, and also shout out to my buddy Matt Nakata. Catch him on the daytime card if you're going to be at No Boundaries. He's going to be fighting for the first time on that card. So shout out to him. He's definitely going to put on a show. Yeah. So, that's it.
Well, like I said, Zach, man, it's a pleasure getting to know you, talking to you for the first time, man, and we'll definitely catch up Saturday night, bro. I don't know if I have other guests on because I can't see them coming on after you, but
Yeah.
I might have Mike White and Anthony Scott on right after you, man. So stick around. If not, man, the floor was all yours tonight, man, and great podcast, whether they're on or not, man. So pleasure talking to you, bro, and you have a great night, and I'll see you in a couple days.
Likewise, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me, and we'll see you Saturday, man.
All right, man. You have a good night.
All right, you as well, brother.
There you go. Let's see if these guys are in the house. Let me see. No. All right, so what am I going to put up here? I'm going to put at least these guys' posters up. I don't know if they're cutting weight. They don't want to come on tonight. It's all right, man. I had a great conversation with Zach. Let me move this over. So, yeah, I'm going to end the show just showing these two guys right here because Zach and I did talk about these two guys. Zach did fight Mike White. Mike White will be fighting Abraham Aziz, and I've seen Abraham fight. I've seen him fight MMA at Cage Titans a couple of times. He's fought two or three amateur MMA fights. He might be 1-2 in MMA, so he's taking on Mike White. Mike White, I do believe, is 7-0 at this point, and he's looking for a title fight if he's successful in here. Anthony Scott, I think this will be Anthony's first time fighting at No Boundary. I could be wrong about this, but Anthony is a friend of mine. He trains at Red Seal with Sean Schubert, and he also is a trainer there. Helps out getting people rounds and helping out the facility as a whole. So I can't wait for this card. I want to thank No Boundary for their first show of 2022. I want to thank them for inviting me. I want to thank Bill Newcomb from Hard Knocks Boston for getting me on board with No Boundary as media. So I'll be there Saturday night, folks. I'll be hanging out. I'll be getting some post-fight interviews if you want one. And I'll be taking a lot of clips to throw all over social media and give you guys some play. So with that said, the Room Podcast, let me get my Zach's poster up there since he showed up tonight. So with that said, follow us on YouTube, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter. Go to newenglandmma.org for all our articles, all our podcasts, all our rankings, all our fighters' records in New England. Go on there, look up a fighter. It'll tell you everything about them. They'll have videos, interviews. Everything you want to know about a New England fighter is at newenglandmma.org. I will be back Friday night with Nathaniel Grimard and Anthony Vasta, who will be fighting each other at NEF 46 on February 12th in Portland, Maine at the Aura. And they are both making their pro debut. I will have them both on this coming Friday night starting at 8 o'clock. So tune in to YouTube, subscribe. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. We are at 900 subscribers. We need another 100 to get to 1,000. And then we can go live on our phones and do so many other things, get monetized. We're really pushing for the YouTube channel. And it's something I've had and created 5 years ago. And, you know, it's a grind getting people to subscribe to it. So please do it, because we have over 700 fucking videos on that YouTube channel. Fights from years ago that you might not have seen, might not have been on Fight Pass, might not have been on I forgot at this point. So with that said, the Room Podcast, I love you people. I'll see you Saturday night at No Boundary. See ya.